This is my favorite writer, Kottayam Pushpanath. Right, Kottayam Pushpanath. And look, Dracula Kota. How many times I read when I was in India, and when I saw this book here, I again read it. I grabbed from you and read it. The story is happened in Kerala, in a bungalow, and the name of the characters are Western names. Dracula concept, how we got when I was in India, in Kerala, a girl from a village, how she can get and that knowledge only through these books. So it adopted a Malayalam movie.
Yeah.
Dracula Kota.
And the extraordinary amount of popular literature, political literature, anti-caste literature, entertaining literature, pulp literature, trashy literature. You see it all around you. You see it in train stations. You see people reading it. The same aesthetic that you see on the covers of Indian pulp novels, you see on film hoardings.
My first trip to go find that stuff, I went to Hyderabad and I went to a distributor who sells us most of our Telugu language books, and I said, I'd like to see the things that are excluded. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, I'd like to see some popular novels and things like that. And they said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, some books about crime or mysteries, or do you have books about love and things like that? And eventually, and I had to say to that bookseller, tell me what your mom reads when she's bored. And then he was like, oh, you want those kinds of books? Oh, those aren't nice books. And I said, I want the not nice books. Show me the not nice books, because people read them. And as I find, every time after I buy them, while people say, no, you don't want them, when I show them to them, they say, oh, I read that one. Oh, I remember when I read that one. Oh, I know this one. So there's a cultural literacy that comes from those. We know this stuff isn't in any U.S. library on a research campus, and so we should go and try to collect that stuff so that we can help students and faculty learn the kind of social histories, cultural histories, more casual kinds of language, as well as certain kinds of art forms that they would never have exposure to in our libraries.
I read these things and I encourage students and I encourage other people to read this and understand the language. It will improve their language actually. They will get the conversational style.
There are things that you consume and you pass on to the next person, or maybe you discard. So they're very inexpensive, which also means they are accessible to more people than more high literature tends to be.
Even though these books are ubiquitous in some ways, it can be very difficult to find individual texts or to find whole editions of a given writer or a given series. And so having this collection being developed at the University of Texas is extremely important.
Every year when I go, my activity while I'm on the ground is to go to the markets, to go to the train stations, to go to people who supply the train station bookstores, all those secondhand booksellers, and increasingly also what they call lending libraries. We want the full experience as best we can of what is part of the literary culture.
Just to get a sense of the incredible diversity of storytelling and the excitement of engaging with those stories that might be outside of what academic notion of the mainstream may be, but what is actually mainstream in terms of the books that people actually read when they go about their day-to-day lives. That's what I find particularly not just exciting and interesting about it, but just really critically important about reading pulp and popular literature.